Bee Swarm Sim is a game with 44 different bees that you're able to earn by grinding. If you've ever played this game, then you would know the most exciting part is opening a new egg and seeing what you get next. I've always wondered though, what bees are in the game, and I was looking through the wiki and saw their abilities were really unique and fun to see, and I thought it would be fun to talk about what each bee does. The first tier we're going to talk about is the common tier, which has a crazy amount of bees in it, which is 1. Of course, the first bee you get in the game is the basic bee. It doesn't have any unique abilities, and its stats are collecting 10 pollen in 4 seconds, 80 honey in 4 seconds, 20 energy, 14 speed, and 1 attack, which is the base stats for the game, and its favorite treat is sunflower seeds. Our next tier, which actually has bees inside of it, is the rare bees, and it has 9 inside. Bomber Bee is next, and it's very unique. You'll never guess what it does. If you can't guess, it makes bombs that will collect pollen from an area it blows up, making it a quick way to farm. The pollen collection rate isn't too crazy, with it being 10 pollen in 4 seconds, the same as basic bee, but differs in honey generation, where it produces 120 honey in 4 seconds, an extra 40 compared to basic bee, with it having 20 energy, 15.4 speed, and 2 attack. The favorite food is also sunflower seeds. Brave Bee is the bravest bee you will ever see. Since there's no ability and it's in rare class, the stats make up for lacking one. The pollen generation of 10 per 4 seconds isn't high, but it does make 200 honey in 4, which is the highest yet. The main difference though is that this bee has 20% increased movement speed, 50% extra energy, and plus 4 attack, which so far is the best for combat, with its stats being 30 energy, 16.8 speed, and 6 attack damage. This pineapple loving bee can get work done. Bumble Bee actually does have an ability which is close to the Bomber Bee. It takes 10 pollen from 13 flowers and creates a blue bomb to help get more pollen if you collect a token. This bee's stats are 18 pollen in 4 seconds, which is the highest so far, 80 honey in 4, and plus 100% energy, plus 8 gather amount, and minus 25% movement. It has 40 energy, 10.5 speed, and 1 attack, with its favorite food being blueberries. Cool Bee is a pretty awesome bee to have, but his ability is a little lackluster. What he does is he grants 1.2 times pollen for blue flowers that can stack up to 10 times, and this effect lasts around 15 seconds. For the stats, the bee collects 10 pollen in 3 seconds, 120 honey in 4, and 25% gather speed plus 40 convert amount, and an extra 1 attack, making it 20 energy, 14 speed, and 2 attack, with his favorite snack being blueberries. Hasty Bee is the first one that will actually give a buff to the player, which can drop a haste token that can be grabbed up to 10 times and will provide 10% player movement speed and can go up to 50%. The basic stats it has is 10 pollen in 3 seconds, 80 honey in 3, plus 40% move speed, and 25% gather convert. 20 energy, 19.6 speed, and 1 attack. This is mostly a support bee just to get places fast, since the pollen collection and honey generation isn't too good. Looker Bee is a freak who never speaks but always watches. He's a good team player though, and he drops focus tokens which will boost critical chance by 3% up to 10 times. The stats are pretty solid too, with collecting 13 pollen in 4 seconds, 160 honey in 4 seconds, plus 80 convert amount, plus 3 gather amount, and plus 5% critical chance. He has 20 energy, 14 speed, and 1 attack. But lastly, he's a freak, and don't forget that. His favorite snack is a sunflower seed, like a freak! Rad Bee thinks he's cool bee, but you'll never be him. His ability is the same, but instead of boosting blue flowers, he boosts red flowers for 1.2 times the pollen. His stats are mostly the same, but differ a little, like 13 pollen per 4 seconds and 80 in 3. Since he's an edgy version though, his favorite snack is strawberries instead of blueberries, since he's a hater like that. Rascal Bee is the same way, where it's the red version of the Bumble Bee, and blows up red flowers. He collects 10 pollen in 4 seconds, 80 honey in 4, 15% movement speed, and extra plus 2 attack, making it 20 energy, 16.1 speed, and 3 attack. Since he's also edgy, his favorite food is strawberries. The last bee inside of the rare category is the Stubborn Bee, who makes it his job to tell you what to do. His ability reflects this, since he marks a random area on the field for 7 seconds, which increases pollen gain by 50% when you're in it. His stats are 10 pollen in 6 seconds, 80 honey in 4, minus 15 movement speed, and plus 25 convert speed, and plus 2 attack. He has 20 energy, 11.9 speed, and 3 attack in total. His favorite food is strawberries, and I want to destroy this bee with a hammer. We have finally finished up rare bees, and now it's time to get to the epic ones. The chances for getting an epic bee is 2.5% from the basic egg, 30% from a silver egg, 79% from a golden egg, and the last way is 27% from a royal jelly. The first so cool, amazing, majestic bee we got is the Bumble Bee. At first glance, this may seem like an enhanced version of the Bumble Bee since it also has bombs that blow up blue flowers, but his ability differs since that he's gathering, he has a chance to spawn a bubble that when the player touches it will explode, collecting pollen and causing flowers to grow. He collects 10 pollen in 4 seconds, 160 honey in 4 seconds, plus 15% move speed, plus 80 convert amount, and plus a 2 attack, making his stats 20 energy, 16.1 speed, and 3 attack, and having blueberries as a favorite treat. Bucko Bee is an enhanced version of Cool Bee, where you'll get 1.2 times more pollen from blue flowers. He will collect 17 pollen in 4 seconds, 80 honey in 3, 10% movement speed, 50% energy, and plus 4 attack, plus 7 gather amount, and plus 25% convert speed, equaling to 30 energy, 15.4 speed, and 5 attack, making him the superior Cool Bee in every way. His favorite tree is also blueberries, making Cool Bee basically useless. Commander Bee served in the Vietnam War, so put some respect on his name. He has a combination of 2 abilities since he has that war experience. So he can grant focus, which boosts critical chance like Freak Bee, and has bombs that blow up nearby flowers that give pollen. His stats are pretty good overall since he collects 15 pollen in 4 seconds, 80 honey in 4 seconds, plus 5 gather amount, plus 5 critical chance, and 3 attack. He has 30 energy, 14 speed, and 4 attack, with his favorite food being sunflower seeds since he's a beast creature bee thing creature awesomeness. Boom.
Bumblebee is kind of like Commander Bee, where he just kind of likes to blow things up. But he really is kind of more like Bomber Bee the more I think about it. His lore is that basically he's better at bombs than the Bomber Bee and our elite ones. While his pollen collection isn't too crazy, with him being 10 pollen per 4 seconds, he makes 330 honey in 4 seconds, which is crazy fast and the most yet. He has 20% movement speed, 170 convert amount, plus 2 attack, making his stats pretty solid, I would say. 20 energy, 16.8 speed, and 3 attack, with his favorite food being sunflower seeds.
Exhausted Bee is suffering every moment of his life, but his curse is also his advantage since he never has to sleep and has unlimited energy. He collects 10 pollen per 4.6 seconds, 240 honey in 4 seconds, and minus 50 movement since he's so tired all the time. He has endless energy, 10.5 of speed, and which is one of the lowest, and 2 attack. He does have 2 other abilities though besides infinite stamina, which he can create a buzz bomb that will destroy flowers where it explodes, and lastly a new ability which is a token link, which will link all available tokens together, activating them all at once. Fire Bee's story is that he was stuck in a hot car for 3 days, and I think that's really interesting that they just put that in the game. I think put him in a volcano next time so we don't have to see him. He has red bombs that gets rid of red flowers, and a special ability which will cause a flame when gathering that will hurt enemies, and standing near the flames will increase the gain of red flowers by 1.2%, which is just a combination of multiple red bees. He has 10 pollen per 4 seconds, 80 honey in 4, and has 25 energy, 11.2 speed, and 4 attack, with pineapple being his favorite food. Now that we have a flame bee, it would be pretty awesome to have one made out of ice. It's pretty nice. His abilities are basically fire bees, but he doesn't have an attack where he would enhance blue pollen by 1.2 times and also has blue bomb. He collects 10 pollen in 4 seconds, 80 honey in 4, and has 25 energy, 11.2 speed, and 1 attack. His favorite snack is blueberries, and he's not the best, but he's a little of an upgrade for blue bees. Honey Bee looks pretty normal, and it's not too special, but it's a pretty solid bee still. This bee has 2 special abilities, which are Honey Gift, which will give you a random amount of honey depending on the bee's level, and also a Honey Mark, which will mark a random spot on the field that will grant 2 links that will convert pollen into honey when you stand inside of it. 10 pollen is collected for 4 seconds, 360 honey is made in 2 seconds, this is really fast, and lastly, this bee has 20 energy, 14 speed, and 1 attack, and his favorite food is pineapples. This is one of the best workers we've seen so far, and it's always nice to have on a team. Rage Bee is an angsty teen who punches holes in his wall and screams at his mom to make him pizza pockets. He has two abilities, which is Token Link and a new one, which is Rage, that will increase all bees that you have by 1 attack and can stack up to 4 times. You will collect 10 pollen in 4 seconds, 80 honey in 4 seconds, and has 20 energy, 15.4 speed, and 5 attack, which is really good bee for fighting. His favorite food is strawberries, and if you get that wrong, he will drive a tree into a car to kill you and himself in spite. Riley Bee is a D1 hater for Bucko Bee and does the exact same thing as him, though I fear his ability is a red flower boost for 1.2 times pollen and collects 10 pollen in 2 seconds, which is pretty fast and makes 140 honey in 4 seconds. He has 25 energy, 15.4 speed, and 5 attack, which makes him a pretty solid all-around bee, but with nothing too special. His favorite food is strawberries, and when he's not thinking about killing Bucko Bee. Dr. Bee has been traumatized his whole life and thinks about the horrors every day. Luckily though, that fear has made it fast, and it can provide haste tokens to make you fast along with some token links. The bee collects 10 pollen in 4 seconds and 80 honey in 2. It also has 20 energy, 19.6 speed, and 2 attack, with his favorite food being pineapples. With this be done, we leave behind the epic tier, and now it's time to move on to the legendaries. Legendary bees at the top, and their pull rates show that. The basic egg has a 0.5% chance to give a legendary, silver 5%, gold 20%, and diamond 95%. And royal jelly has the 3% chance to give you a legendary bee. Baby Bee is our first legendary, and while his stats are kinda terrible, he's still young and has time to grow. His energy is 15 with a 10.5 speed and 0 attack, and while this might not seem like a good legendary, the abilities more than make up for this. When activated, you'll get 2 times pollen and plus 50% loot luck for 30 seconds, which is a crazy support bee, and his favorite food is strawberries. Carpenter Bee brought itself to life apparently, since its own body is made out of wood. This bee also has 2 abilities, which is Honey Mark, that will mark a large area that converts pollen into honey if you stand inside, and also a Pollen Mark that summons a large area which will increase pollen by 50% if you're inside of it. This bee collects 10 pollen in 3 seconds and makes 120 honey in 4, with it having 25 energy, 11.2 speed, 5 attack, and his favorite food is sunflower seeds. Earlier I called Riley Bee a D1 hater, but he is nothing compared to Demon Bee, whose hate in this world is incomparable. Red Bomb is the first ability, which I hope you know what it does by now. But this bee also has a passive called Gathering Flames, which will spawn a fire when gathering that will hurt enemies, along with it giving more pollen, and if you're near a fire, it'll boost damage. This bee has 20 energy, 10.5 speed, and 8 attack, making it a pretty good offensive bee that loves pineapples. Diamond Bee is rich like that and hates poor bees, making the class divide even larger. Luckily for you though, if you own this bee, you'll get 3 different abilities, which are Blue Boost, or 1.2 multiplier for blue flowers, or Honey Gift that will give you whatever your level is 250 squared, and lastly a unique ability that will grant 25 bonus honey when converting at Hive. He collects 10 pollen in 4 seconds, but the really crazy part is 1000 honey in 4 seconds, and has 20 energy, 14 speed, and 1 attack, but he's a crazy hunter generator that loves blueberries. Lion Bee is an interesting creature of a bee and a lion mix. Don't ask me how that happened, but his fighting talent is amazing. He can generate 20 pollen in 4 seconds, which is above the base, and makes 160 honey in 2, which is nice, and has Buzz Bomb ability, which just helps get more pollen. But where he's really special is his stats. He has 60 energy, which is 40 more than most bees, 19.6 speed, which is nice, but his attack is his best part, with it being 10 for this pineapple loving lion creature combination disgraced, I don't even know. Music Bee is the ultimate support fighter bee. The stats are with it making 16 pollen in 4 seconds, 240 honey in 4 seconds, 20 energy, and 16.1 speed, with only 1 attack. While it seems kinda sucky for a legendary bee, the fact that it has 3 fighting support abilities is crazy, with it having Melody, which will grant 100 critical power for 30 seconds, Focus, which will grant 3% critical chance for 20 seconds, and Token Link just to collect them all at once, making it a crazy support bee for fighting enemies who loves blueberries. Ninja Bee is the type of legendary you get, and don't say anything about it since he's kinda just He's a blue bee who collects 10 pollen in 2 seconds, 80 honey in 2, but he's just kinda His 2 abilities are Haste, which will make the player faster, and Blue Bomb, but he doesn't have that much of an impact. He has 20 energy, 21 speed, making him faster slightly than most bees, and 4 attack. But he's too well rounded to be used for a specific purpose, so the sunflower seed eating bee is mostly left alone. After the middest bee alive, we got an awesome one, which is Shy Bee. This is a good worker that hates talking, but it doesn't matter when it's making 10 pollen in 2 seconds, 320 honey in 4, and there are 3 abilities that it comes with, which are Red Boost or 1.2 times pollen for red flowers, Red Bomb to get the most out of your red boost, and a passive called Nectar Lover, which will gather twice as much pollen and is more likely to stop for nectar, along with contributing twice as much to planters. His stats also make him pretty solid, with it having 40 energy, a lot higher than usual, 18.2 speed, and 2 attack, making the Strawberry 11 Bee a solid one to put on a red team. With Shy Bee done, that's all legendaries, and the mythic bees are where things get really crazy. They have a 0% chance to be gained in a basic egg, a 0.1% chance in a silver, 1% from a gold, 5% from a diamond, and 0.004 from a royal jelly. And lastly, 100% from a mythic egg. Buoyant Bee is a weird little thing. It's our first mythic we have to talk about, and it makes 15 pollen in 5 seconds, 150 honey in 3, and there isn't anything too crazy compared to the bees we've talked about. But there is 4 abilities for mythics, and that's crazy, because the highest we've seen before now is 3. Blue Bomb is something we've talked a lot about, but the last 3 are new to this bee. The first ability, Inflate Balloons, will increase the pollen in balloons on the field by 5% and spawn a balloon that can fill, which will put the pollen inside of it, and once full, will fly to the hive and start converting. The passive this bee also has works with the balloon, which will have a 3 times convert rate when converting from a balloon. That is all the base abilities this bee has, with 60 energy, 14 speed, and 4 attack. If you caught earlier, I actually said this bee can have up to 4 abilities. This mythic bee actually gains another one based on if it's gifted or not. If you do not have a gifted Buoyant Bee, then you will summon a gold balloon that causes all balloons to spawn random ability tokens and starts a surprise party for this Blueberry 11 Bee. Fuzzy Bee is interesting to see. It collects 100 pollen in 6 seconds and 40 in 6 also. The 4 abilities this bee has is called Fuzz Bombs, which will go around the field for 8 seconds that collects pollen and pollinates flowers, and of course Buzz Bombs will help gather pollen. The passive is called Fuzzy Coat, which means it will pollinate 5 flowers when gathering, which will help them grow faster along with storing more pollen. The gifted ability is called Pollen Haze that will summon a yellow haze that pollinates up to 30 flowers every second and increases the growth rate and activates any bomb tokens. If you're looking for a bee to get pollination done, then this Pineapple 11 Bee is the way to go, since every ability works towards that. Precise Bee never misses, except when it comes to his ex-wife. Sorry. He collects 20 pollen in 4 seconds, which is nothing too good, but makes 80 honey in 4, which is a little better. The 4 abilities are Target Practice, which will put 3 targets on a field, and if you walk through all 3, then you'll get a stack of Precision, which will grant 2% super crit chance for 60 seconds up to 10 times. And after some time, all activated targets will be shot, and if you're standing inside of this target, then all of your pollen in your bag will be converted and half into honey. If this seems like a lot, that's because this is the only ability this bee gets, and it doesn't have a gifted one, but the only other thing setting it apart is that when it's fighting, it will take longer to attack, but do 2 times damage from range. This bee has 40 energy, 11.2 speed, and 8 attack, which makes the Sunflower Seed 11 Bee a pretty good fighter for your team. Spicy Bee always eats his food right out of the microwave without waiting. It makes 14 pollen in 2 seconds and a crazy 300 honey in 2. Unlike the last bee, this one actually has 4 abilities, which is Inferno, that will summon a ring of 6 flames, then summons 2 fire bees that last for 15 seconds. The second ability is called Rage, that just rages the bee's attack by +1 for 45 seconds. That can stack up to 4 times. The passive is called Steam Engine, that makes it faster for movement speed and gathering based on flame heat. The gifted ability is that for 15 seconds, a Spicy Bee puts oil into flames that last 50% longer and instantly converts 50,000 pollen. The energy is 20 with 14 speed and 5 attack, making the Strawberry 11 Bee a weird fit into teams. Tadpole Bee makes no sense to me. When he grows up, he wishes he could be a frog, and this weird little creature has 4 abilities, which are Blue Boost, that I think we all know by now,
1.2 times blue pollen. The next 3 abilities are unique to this beast, I think, and it's especially shown since the next ability summons a frog that lasts for 20 seconds and makes bubbles when hopping and fights enemies with its tongue or collects ability tokens. This passive ability gives it a 65% chance to spawn a bubble when gathering that gives pollen from nearby flowers. The gifted ability is basically the baby bees one, where you just get 2 times pollen and loot luck for 30 seconds. The stats are 10 pollen in 6 seconds, 120 in 4, and 10 energy, 11.2 speed, and 1 attack, which makes this a blueberry loving bee, or tadpole, a unique gatherer fighting beast, even if the stats don't directly display that. It's now time for our last mythic bee. Stay strong, everyone. Don't cry too many tears. The last one we got is Vector Bee, which is like math or something. This bee has 3 abilities, which is Pollen Mark, that increases pollen gain when in it by 50%. Triangulate, which does trigonometry, something that no one really cares about. Am I right? Got him. It will connect the triangle from the player, the bee, and an ability token, and after 3 seconds collects everything inside the triangle. The gifted ability causes all player marks to collect 7 pollen from all flowers near. The stats are a solid 45.6 energy, 16.24 speed, and 5 attack with 18 pollen in 4 seconds and 144 in 2.72, making it the last mythic sunflower eaten bee, a solid conclusion. And with that, we have finished every bee tier in this game. Hope you enjoyed and see you next time. And just kidding, we have 2 more special classes to go over, with the first being event bees, or the ones that need special ways to earn them, like the bear bee. The bear bee is the first one we gotta talk about. This bee collects 15 pollen in 2 seconds and 200 honey in 2, with 35 energy, 14 speed, and 5 attack, making it nothing too special so far. Even though it's hard to get, since you had to pay 800 Robux or grind the Tunnel Bear and the Retro Swarm Challenge, the single ability is what makes this bee worth it, since it will turn you into a random bear that grants 2 times pollen and boosts speed and jump power. With Gifted Bee, you'll turn into special bees that just give you added bonuses. Cobalt Bee is gained by purchasing it inside of a ticket tent for 250 and makes 10 pollen in 4 seconds, 140 honey in 3, 35 energy, 18.2 speed, and 7 attack. The 2 abilities are heavily reliant on how many blue bees you have, with the first called Blue Pulse that will connect between each blue bee you have, collecting pollen between them. Blue Bomb Sink grants 10% blue pollen, and instant blue conversion lets them collect pollen from white flowers instead of only blue, making it pretty solid for blue bee hives. Crimson Bee is the exact same as Cobalt Bee, but abilities work for red instead, so sorry bud, but I'm not going to talk about you. Digital Bee is bought by Robo Bee for around 8 million honey and other trinkets needed to buy it. It collects 10 pollen in 4 seconds and makes 80 honey in 20, with the energy being 11.9 speed and 1 attack, making this bee pretty terrible in terms of stats. The reason the stats suck so much though is because the abilities are pretty good supports. The first is called Glitch, that will randomly corrupt a field that can dupe tokens, making them last 2 times longer. Mind Hack will stun 3 random opponents for 3 seconds and make them take 25% more damage. The passive is called Domain EXP, Drive Expansion, and will corrupt the field you're in depending on the color of what drive you use and permanently making it better. The gifted ability is a random field where every player will become corrupted, in simple terms. This bee has the best gather amount in the game, and it's needed if that's your goal. Festive Bee wishes every day can be Christmas and actually tries to make that a reality. This bee is obtained from the ticket tent for 500 and has 4 support abilities, which are Honey Mark, Red Bomb, which we talked about, and 2 new abilities, like Festive Mark, which will mark a random place on the field, like a Honey Mark, except this ability summons Red Boost and gifts as well, plus the original benefits. This last ability also has to do with gifts, which will give a random gifts like honey treats and random thing to every player on the server. The bee's stats are 40 pollen in 4 seconds, 150 honey in 1, which is insane, and 20 energy, 16.1 speed, and lastly 1 attack. This red support bee is definitely a present to have and is nice to have on your team. Gummy Bee is from the Gummy Bee egg claim for 2,500 gumdrops and has 2 weird short abilities. The first launches gumdrops in a large area that will grant more honey when gathered, and also has the glob ability that will cover 49 flowers with goo. It can make 10 pollen in 4 seconds in 704, which is really nice too. There's 50 energy, 14 speed, and 3 attack, but honestly kind of for an event bee. Photon Bee is made entirely out of light and isn't even a bee, but you didn't hear that from me. He's obtained from the ticket tent for 500 and has 2 abilities also. The first is called Beamstorm, which will fire 25 beams from the sky that will collect pollen from flowers hit, and Haste, which makes the player faster. The first ability is kind of cool, but the fact that there's only one makes it kind of The bee can make 20 pollen in 2 seconds and 240 in 2, but has a limited energy, 21 speed, and 4 attack. I feel like this bee could have been really cool, but it's just kind of existing for now. Puppy Bee is a silly creature that I like, who comes from the ticket tent for 500. He has 4 abilities, which are fetch that will create a ball that collects tokens and increases pollen by 100% that you can combo with the bee by kicking it between each other, and Puppy Love that increases your bond with 10 bees near you. These are the base abilities, but if you have reindeer antlers equipped on this bee, then it'll become Reindeer Fetch and Focus instead. It's basically the same ability, except every 3rd hit will give Reindeer Guidance buff, and at 10 combos, gingerbreads will be spawned from the ball. The stats for this bee are 40 energy, 16.1 speed, and 2 attack, 25 pollen in 4 seconds, and 280 honey in 4. Even though I do not think he's too particularly good, I think it's a fun bee to have and interact with. Of course, if you have a dog bee, then you need a cat one too, right? Well, Beeswarm understood this. So there's a tabby cat gained from the ticket tent for 500 as well. This bee makes 10 pollen in 4 seconds, 160 honey in 3, 28 energy, 16.1 speed, and 4 attack. The 2 abilities this bee has is Scratch and Tabby Love. Scratch collects 7 pollen from 3 lines of 4 flowers, and actually stacks permanently due to Tabby Love. Tabby Love will permanently grant 1% gather amount convert rate in pollen up to 1,000 times, which gives it the best conversion rate in the game at max stats, only being passed in gather amount by Digital Bee. Vicious Bee is that villain that you kill and then later will unlock on your team, but he sucks. You get it by using 200 stingers at Vicious Bee Acclaim. It's a big fighter and its abilities reflect that, with Impale that will summon spikes to kill your enemies, and Blue Bombs that I hope you know what they do already. There's 50 energy, 17.5 speed, and 9 attack, making this aggressive bee an alright good fighter, I would say. And to finish our list off, our last bee is the Windy Bee, which is earned from donating Cloud Vials. He collects 10 pollen in 3 seconds, 180 honey in 2, and has 20 energy, 19.6 speed, and 4 attack. The final abilities of this list are White Boost, which gives 1.2 pollen from white flowers. Rain Cloud, which summons a cloud of rain in different fields for 60 seconds that makes flowers grow and 25% more pollen. The last ability is Tornado, that will consume your haste tokens to summon a huge tornado that gets pollen and tokens that scale depending on how many haste were consumed. And with that, we have finished every single bee and bee swarm sim as of February 26, 2025. If you watched this whole video, let me know in the comments, and if you have some tips, feel free to leave them below too. Thanks for watching, make sure to sub and like the video for more. Bye!